My name is Marcus Andrews, and I'm a junior at Morgan State University. During my time in Communications 300, we discussed the transatlantic slave trade and the impact that African culture has had on the United States of America. I sat down with Kaylin Wadley, a medical student, to discuss her organization, the Charles R. Drew Pre-Med Society, and to discuss the impact that African culture has had on modern medicine. Hey,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. So can you give us your name, classification, and the org that you are a part of?
Yes. So my name is Kaylin Wadley. I am a graduate student at the University of Maryland College Park in College Park, Maryland, and I'm a part of the Charles H. Drew Pre-Medical Student Association.
And what is your major and what are you studying?
I'm in a post-baccalaureate medical program.
Knowing that African slaves contributed to the basis of what we know today as modern American medicine, how do you feel about the lack of diversity in the medical field right now?
I think that it's a contradiction. I think that whether it's government, medicine, any type of authority or system that is in place to represent and help the community are the United States is very diverse. Our country is diverse. That's one of the things that draws people here. So it doesn't make sense that the people that are in positions to help others that look like them don't actually look like them in a lot of circumstances, especially when you start talking about specialized medicine. There are particular specialties where there is really no diversity. Orthopedics, which is dealing with the bones, and well, it's predominantly white male. And it's only 0.02% Black female orthopedic physicians and surgeons in the US.
Have you experienced any setback in your journey of going into the medical field because of your skin color?
Man, these are great questions. So, in regards to being brought here, right, and how that's contributed to modern medicine, first of all, we know that history, we don't really have the full story. So when we learn as we progress and learn more about medicine or anything for that matter, as it pertains to people who are the generations after slaves that were brought here against their will, it's crazy that we can say John Snow is the father of modern epidemiology, but African people of African descent were doing inoculation and vaccines long before anybody was like, oh, John Snow is the man.
Right. Because
So
they bought it here.
they brought exactly and recognizing, giving people credit where they feel credit is due, but then you're not also seeing the other side of the story, which is weaponizing things and bringing it to kill Native Americans and all of these real and relevant acts of genocide um, that have been at the hands of white settlers, Anglo-Saxon settlers. It's insane.
Do you feel like the organization that you're in now combats those setbacks that you spoke of?
Oh, absolutely. I've met, first of all, some phenomenal Black individuals in that organization. It's not limited to that, but most of the people who are in the organization are of African American or Black identification. And
I feel
it's
like that's also the point. So you can see people look like you're doing
exactly,
what you want to do.
exactly. And it's a breath of fresh air, especially going to a PWI. UMD is primarily white male. So, there is that space that's been created and it's a community for sure. I mean, when I spoke on a panel about my non-traditional route to medical school, going through like a graduate program and working in the clinical sector, there was like 70 people on the call, and there were so many people that were contacting me afterwards and just asking for like feedback or like mentorship and things like that. So there's a real need for it, and it's important that we are that conglomerate. If you're Nigerian American or you're Ghanaian American, you still have that to tie to. I know plenty of people who are Ghanaian and they go to Ghana every December, but they have their roots at home and they know where they're from and they have something to go back to. They know, oh, I'm from the Igbo tribe. We
Right.
don't
Like I don't know that. I know none of that
we
information.
don't know any of that. So gotta create something out of nothing, but
Yes.
something nonetheless.
Thank you so much for interviewing, having
Welcome.
interview you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
I shall. Thank you for having me.